Chef Squeaky was a tiny mouse with enormous dreams. He wasn't just any mouse, he had a passion that set him apart from the rest. Unlike other mice who loved cheese, Squeaky loved to cook. He spent hours imagining himself creating culinary masterpieces. He dreamed of delicious sauces and fantastical feasts. His mind was always filled with recipes and flavors. He wanted to be a chef. Not just any chef, but the best chef in the world. Squeaky lived under the floorboards of a bustling restaurant. It was the perfect place for a mouse with big dreams. Every night, he heard the clatter of pots and the sizzle of food. The sounds were like music to his ears. The delicious smells made his whiskers twitch. He could almost taste the dishes being prepared above him. One day, he decided to take a peek. His curiosity got the better of him. He scurried through a hole in the wall and into the bright, busy kitchen. It was a world he had only dreamed of. It was a jungle of gleaming pots and towering chefs. Squeaky felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as he took in the scene. The kitchen was a whirlwind of activity. Chefs tossed vegetables, flames leaped in pans, and knives chopped with a rhythmic thump. Squeaky was mesmerized. He wanted to join the culinary dance, but it was too dangerous. Giant feet stomped across the floor, and rolling pins squashed dough with a terrifying thud. Squeaky had to be careful. He scurried under carts, climbed utensil racks, and even swung from hanging pots to avoid being squished. Finding ingredients was a challenge too. Squeaky, our determined little mouse chef, often found himself in a cluttered pantry, searching high and low for the right ingredients. The pantry was a maze of jars, sacks and boxes, each one hiding the perfect component for his next culinary masterpiece. One night, Squeaky tried to gather flour for a pasta dish. He knew that the perfect pasta required the finest flour, and he was determined to find it, no matter the obstacles. He climbed a mountain of flour sacks, only to tumble into a sea of white powder. Covered from head to toe, Squeaky looked like a ghostly figure, but he shook it off and continued his quest. Another time, he attempted to steal a chunk of cheese. The cheese was enormous, almost as big as Squeaky himself, but he was undeterred. He rolled the enormous cheese wheel with all his might, but ended up trapped inside, rolling across the kitchen floor like a furry bowling ball. It was a hilarious sight, but Squeaky's determination never wavered. Despite the mishaps, Squeaky never gave up. He cleaned up the messes, learned from his mistakes, and kept pushing forward. He was determined to create something delicious, something uniquely his own. With every attempt, he got closer to his dream of becoming a master chef, proving that perseverance and passion can overcome any obstacle. Section 4. A Triumph of Tiny Tastes. Squeaky started small. He gathered fallen breadcrumbs, stray grains of rice and forgotten herbs. He used a thimble as a mixing bowl and a toothpick as a whisk. He experimented with flavors, combining sweet berries with pungent cheese and crunchy nuts. He created tiny masterpieces, each bite a burst of unexpected deliciousness. He left his creations for the chefs to find, hoping for a sign, a nod, anything to acknowledge his culinary creations. Section 5. Chef Squeaky's Signature Dish. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the pantry, Squeaky stumbled upon a forgotten strawberry. It was small and bruised, but smelled divine, with a fragrance that filled the air and tickled his whiskers. An idea sparked in his mind, a vision of a delightful dessert that could transform this humble berry. He scurried around, gathering the tiniest, sweetest berries he could find, each one a gem in his tiny paws. He also collected the crumbliest, most fragrant cookie crumbs, knowing they would add the perfect texture. With meticulous care, he crafted a miniature strawberry tart, layering the flavors with precision and love. Finally, he presented his creation to the head chef, leaving it on the edge of his cutting board. The chef was astonished by the tiny masterpiece. He tasted the tart and his eyes widened in surprise and delight. It was a flavor explosion, a perfect balance of sweet and tart, with a delightful crunch from the cookie crumbs. He had never tasted anything so unique, so unexpectedly delightful, and he knew this was something special. From that day on, Chef Squeaky's miniature dishes became the restaurant's best-kept secret, a hidden gem known only to a few. People came from all over to savor his tiny creations, each dish a testament to his creativity and skill. Chef Squeaky, the little mouse with big dreams, had become a culinary sensation, celebrated by all who tasted his delightful dishes.